I'm Aaron Dean, and this is Advocate Today. There was another brawl outside a California school board meeting this week over LGBTQ plus policies. It happened outside the Glendale Unified School Board meeting. Glendale police say that 200 people were at the demonstration. The debate is over gender and identity curriculum in district schools. This time, no one was arrested. Elon Musk is adding 2 words to the Twitter list of slurs, and those are cis and cisgender. Musk says that in a tweet that using the words in repeated targeted harassment could lead to a temporary suspension. Cis and cisgender are usually used to describe someone who is not transgender. The 2 words have become points of contention as heated debate takes place across the U.S. over policies targeting the trans community. It has been 1 year since the Dobbs decision. The Supreme Court ruled that abortion is not a constitutional right. A year later, and 25 million women are living in states with abortion bans or tighter restrictions. Most are Republican-controlled states. Meanwhile, 20 Democratic-leaning states have protected access to abortion. The full impact is not yet clear, but one senator says that the fallout has been devastating.
Women are forced to stay pregnant against their will, even when their health and lives are at risk. Doctors in some states are having to deny patients the life-saving care that they need or risk being sent to jail. And other providers in states like mine are being pushed to the breaking point, trying to serve an influx of patients from out of state. The fallout has been devastating. Women are heartbroken. They're terrified, but they are also mad, and they are determined, and they are speaking out. And so are Senate Democrats.
Senator Murray and other Senate Democrats are seeking to pass legislation to protect and enhance reproductive rights for patients and medical providers. There are tons of Pride celebrations happening across the country, and many fungoers have safety at the top of their minds. Boise Pride Executive Director Donald Williamson told me about what goes into ensuring security for all in the midst of threats and hate. You are the executive director of Boise Pride and also a former emergency room tech. Now, how do you prioritize safety and security of all of your attendees at an event such as big as this one? What kind of strategies or protocols do you all have in place?
It's a pretty large event, but it's not our first time around the block. I mean, this is our 34th year that we'll be doing it. Security is always a top concern when you're dealing with any event, specifically for the LGBTQ plus community, and especially when you live in a state like Idaho. So security always kind of has to be at the forefront. So we take a number of different measures with the park that we currently hold the festival in. We have fencing that fences off the entire perimeter of the festival, so we have designated entrances and exits, which makes it easier to control the crowd there. We have a lot of involvement early on with local law enforcement, Boise PD, the FBI, the Department of Justice locally. So we have a lot of resources at our disposal, and then we work with security teams that are professional, know what they're doing, and have the ability to scale what we need up or down depending on what our needs are at the time.
Yeah, and you all in the past have had issues with like white supremacist groups, trying to intervene in the Pride festivities. How now, with this year coming up, how are you all kind of helping to work to ease the maybe some uneasiness from some of the participants who may have witnessed what happened before?
Protests to these kind of events, not just here, but I mean nationally, that protests aren't new. It's a common thing, sadly. And obviously, in a state as red as Idaho is, protests are common. I mean, our first Pride Festival back in 1989 or whenever that was, a lot of the attendees had to wear brown paper bags over their head to hide their identity and have rocks thrown at them. So I mean, we sadly still need security, but it's come a long way. And we showed last year with a lot of extremists that tried to take some of our programming and twist the narrative into something different. Targeting youth and drag shows like we see across the country. Even with all of that, we still had 60,000 people turn out and had an uneventful, as far as any negative outcomes, an uneventful festival. It was a huge success, and we proved that we could keep the community safe and still have a great time.
And when we look at like year-round activities, of course, your Pride Festival is one part of the year. But when we look at the
Mhm.
whole year, how have you all engaged with the Boise community to create a community of inclusivity and safety and have a great time?
Um, Fortunately, with Boise, it's pretty easy. I mean, Boise, in and of itself, apart from the rest of the state, does tend to be pretty open-minded. Whether you're Republican or Democrat or Independent or what have you, everybody's pretty accepting. So we do have that benefit. One of the benefits we had that we discovered moving the festival to September is that allows us to develop new content, new events, new resources and things for the LGBTQ plus community, not only in June, but as we start to spread that out to do more events year round to keep the community engaged, to keep this community seen. So it doesn't just become a 1 month or a one event thing a year. We want to try to keep expanding and growing on what we're doing so that it's Pride is more of a year round thing here than just a 1 month or a one weekend thing.
Despite the security concerns that we spoke about earlier, Pride is about, it's a big celebration, and it's a time to come together. What do you specifically like about Pride?
So many things. One of my favorite stories in my own personal experiences here with the Boise Pride Festival was a couple of years ago. The first festival we did post COVID, when we had to institute a bunch of protocols to make sure we could have a safe festival. And there was this small group of kids, there's probably like half a dozen kids, I would say they're in their early to mid teens. And they were always there really early every day at the beginning of the festival. And they would meet, find a little patch of grass, they get together, and they would just be talking while they're all doing their makeup and having a great time. And what was really special was you could tell by looking at that group that there was at least a couple of kids in that group that that is not a part of their life that they get to express at home, at least not freely. It's highly likely that they probably have to hide that part of them. So for them to be able to have this space that they didn't have to worry about being judged, didn't have to worry about hiding who they were, and they could just be for a weekend and have this incredible space of tens of thousands of people of acceptance and non-judgment, and community. That's pretty special to see.
Mm. Well, I have to admit, I've never been to a Pride celebration at all. So,
What?
yes,
Ever?
seriously, seriously. So the question is,
Come on now.
should I hop on a plane and come to Boise?
Absolutely, you should. Come on out. You'll be our special guest. Just let us know when you're coming. We have Big Frida coming this year too.
Oh, oh, for real?
Yeah, for real.
You have
For
me at
real.
Big Frida.
It's all the more important that we have events like the Boise Pride Festival to let this community know that they're not alone, that they are seen, and that they have allies.
Pride is all about living authentically, and one makeup artist and author experienced his fair share of struggles with acceptance and carving a path. But he's got a beautiful message for those who are looking for guidance. Take a listen.
So yeah, through meditation, through practicing gratitude, through being a person of service and providing for other and having kind acts, I'm putting it out into the universe. I'm visualizing it and I'm receiving it back. And it's that message is it's a momentum. You keep it going wherever you go, whether I'm in LA, whether I'm in Orlando, whether I'm in Nashville, and I see the counteractive domino effect on the others around me, and just really inspiring to see them believe it and feel it, and then in return they also want to share that same kind of light with others around them. So I feel like we've experienced a lot of negativity in our past 3 4 years or whatever, but just as infectious as bad energy can be, so can good. And so that's the philosophy at the end of the day, and that's my brand, and that's the message that I'm trying to share with everybody around me.
And thanks for watching this Advocate today. Be sure to download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to stream us live, and you can even subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure you do it, okay? For the Advocate channel, this has been Advocate Today, and I am Aaron Dean.